With this very simple method, you will be able to learn much faster than you do now. Everyone wants to learn quickly, but have you ever asked yourself, why do I study so long? After all, you need to find the reason why you study so long. In many cases, you may simply be constantly distracted by someone, a brother or sister for example, or you yourself are constantly distracted by your phone. Because someone wrote to you something, you must definitely answer. You understand what I mean. Maybe you simply don't know where to get information and learn everything in a lot of ancillary things, or you really don't know the method by which you can study faster. I know such a method. Later I will even tell you about how I unconsciously used it in my life. But now let's talk about the method itself in more detail. First, you need to create conditions for successful fast learning. You must be free from distractions, and there should be silence in your room, because if you are constantly distracted and someone constantly talking in the room, then this will prevent you from concentrating on studying, and you may not study faster, but on the contrary, take longer. Now you need to know clearly how much material you need to study, and prepare all the necessary material on your desktop. For example, a book, a notebook with notes, and so on. This is very important so that you later don't get distracted. Now, in how many hours do you want to study all this material? I understand that you want to do it as quickly as possible, but still, if you want to study 15 pages, and you want to study it in 5 minutes, then it will be a little difficult to do. You understand this, so choose a real time, so that you can do it qualitatively, and not just read the material and not remember anything. Now take a timer and set it for this time, and try to learn all this material in this time. The whole point is that you have a limited time. Your brain will work in such a way that you can learn everything in this time. You know, there are situations when you have very little time, but you urgently need to do something. For example, you are late for class, and you only have 5 minutes to get ready and run to the university. A miracle happens and you manage to do everything and even arrive on time for class. Also on days when you got up early and had a lot of time to eat, get ready, and could even exercise during this time, you still didn't have time, because there was no feeling of limited time. The feeling is that you need to do something in a specific time. You just calmly ate, went and brushed your teeth and so on, and didn't even look at the clock to see how much time you have left. With this method we try to create this feeling of limited time, so that you can have time to do what you wouldn't have had time to do if you didn't use a timer. It may be that you choose too little time and didn't have time to study all the material. This may be the case. It's okay. Just understand how much more time you need to study this material, and set the timer again. An example from my life. Once I came to class and almost immediately realized that I had studied the wrong topic. That is, I was not ready for the class. I quickly found a textbook where everything necessary was written. I had very few minutes then, but guess what? I read the most important points as quickly as possible, understood them and answered during the class as if I had been preparing for it back in the dorm. Of course, it's important to say here that the topic was not difficult and there was not much material, but the point is that this method really works. Also, you need to change your mindset. Many students think that they will not be able to learn a lot of material quickly. Even when I see how much material I need to learn for the exam, I also often don't believe that I will be able to do it. But this mindset needs to be changed. You should know that absolutely everything is possible, because if you don't believe in it, then after you set the timer, you will not work at full capacity, because why try if it's impossible, and this method will not work for you. In this case, it's better to add time. Make it so that you believe in it, even if at first it will not be so fast as you wanted. The main thing is that you believe in it. Then after several such studies, you will be able to reduce the time, and it will be much easier for you to believe that it's possible to do it. Also, if suddenly you know that it's difficult for you to remember a lot of material, then try to convince yourself that you have an excellent memory, that you can remember anything. This will help you to be confident that it's possible to do it. You can do it, and you have all the necessary skills to do it. So accordingly, you will do it. It's very important to keep your focus on the right things, because you have a limited amount of time, and you have to study a lot of material, so you simply will not have time to study everything. So try to read and analyze what is the most important of all this. I remember how they told me about this back in school, that we should be able to recognize the most important among a lot of material. So I think you have already written a summary where you wrote only the most important, because if you write everything in a row, then even a notebook may not be enough for this. Of course, if you have a lot of time, then it will be better to study a lot of material material, to understand the topic even better. But if you have little time, then set a timer and try to study the most important. But so that with the help of only this most important text, you can understand the whole topic. This is very important. If you can't do it now, then do more practice. Choose a topic, study it this way, and ask one of your friends or relatives to ask you questions about it. If you answer everything, then it means that you understand how it works. If not, then you need to look for mistakes. Sit down and analyze without a timer what you chose wrong, why you missed something important, and so on. Your biggest enemy is your laziness. It's of course cool that you watch videos like this about self-development, about learning. Later I will even talk about the ChatGPT. You're on the right track. But if you know all the ways, know all the techniques, but are lazy, then it all just doesn't make any sense. There are many extremely talented people in the world who are very smart and could have achieved great success in life, but because of laziness they didn't do it. I want you not to forget to study. Rest is also of course very important, but don't forget to study. Now let's move on to something very relevant today. ChatGPT. Can it help you learn faster? Of course yes, because if you are reading a textbook and you don't understand something, you can ask ChatGPT what a term means. It will write it for you. It may be that it will write it incomprehensibly in complex terms. Then ask it to explain it to you. And in this way you just ask it what you don't understand, and you will learn faster. The main thing is to follow academic integrity. Nowadays it's so easy to learn, so that if you just don't be lazy, you can become extremely smart. I think everyone has noticed when you have been doing something for a certain period of time, and each time it has become easier and easier for you to do it. With this you can learn faster, because if you learn something regularly, your brain will get used to it. It will adapt, and then you will be able to learn the material even faster, because your brain is already used to learning something, and each time you improve this skill. The main thing is not to do something that you learned something today, and then only a month later you learn something else. This is a big break. You will not improve the skill of learning quickly. Even if it's difficult for you to learn now, if you constantly study, learn something. Be constant in this. This is the key to making it much easier and faster for you to learn. I also often find it difficult to prepare for class, but I prepare for them. If I'm not preparing for a class, I study something else, for example a foreign language. Often on the same day I prepare for a class and study something else for other purposes. But I'm used to it, because I'm in university now and I went to college for 4 years before that, so I'm used to studying. And you'll get used to it too, and over time you will learn faster and faster without even realizing it. But why don't I use the fast learning method now? It's cool, with it you can learn the material much faster, but it's best to use it when you have little time and you need to learn a lot of material. And if you have a lot of time, then it's better to sit down calmly, read all the material, understand the topic 100%. With a fast method 100%, I think it's almost impossible to learn. So I recommend to use the fast method only sometimes, just like an option to learn a lot of material in a short period of time.